Hey, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a year of me turning, so I learned some stuff and I kind of moved my shop around. And I spent 4 days cleaning, so I figured I'll give you a tour while it lasts, because it'll probably be clean for about 5 minutes. But anyways, this is spring is here now, so it's my backyard. But I have these bags here that are all full of chips, and believe it or not, through the winter I accumulated another 23 of those from shavings. My shop was a total disaster. I couldn't even walk in there. And I got some of my work, some more up here and here. But let's head to the shop. If you haven't seen my previous tour, my shop is 24 by 16 feet, and it was built about a year and a half ago on a 4 feet ICF foundation, and I have a deck. Oh, by the way, I also fill up the compost bin over there with chips. And yeah, let's go in. Don't worry about the sign. If you get caught, just say you're with me. Anyways, this is my wow, this looks so clean. This is why I have to document this. But anyways, this is how I finish my shop. I have a mini split that gives me heat in the winter and air conditioning in the summer. I have a bunch of fluorescent lights, a WEN air filtration system, and there is a fan too. And I got 4 skylights. But let's get to the nitty gritty. This is my bench slide slash outfit table slash secondary lathe. But I have a quick release vise that I built. I got some storage there. I got a vacuum there that needs to be used more often. And when I built this was originally the other way, and I just repositioned it so I can have my lathe on the other side. But I've left this kind of hold on the metal, and people keep asking, why did you do that? So I finally built a box that fits in there, and then this lead that covers the whole thing. But the idea behind it was that if I need to clamp something on a glue up, I can have clamps here and clamps there. So that's why that was there. This little light here from Home Depot has an incandescent light bulb, which are really hard to get these days. And whenever I turn something wet, because you can't sand something wet, it will sit under that light for a day or two, and it dries up, and then I can sand it. It's also used for when you make a hat, you have to bend it with elastic bands under a light. So that's what that's for. So this is my rigid table saw. It's not a pro table saw, but I kind of made it good by buying a different fence. I made some extension wings to accommodate the bigger fence, not fan. Yeah, you're gonna have to learn Spanglish if you're gonna watch my videos. So, anyways, this is a combination between Harvey and Incra, because people go, oh, one or the other. Well, I couldn't make up my mind, so I made a combo of both of them. The fence that came with this was really kind of crappy. This is a really good one. It's from BCB. Down below, I have a Raycon dust collector that is just dedicated to the table saw. And this is my secondary lathe. It's a Coronet Herald from Record Power. I believe it's 1436, and I love this little thing because the head actually rotates, and you can actually mount it the opposite way if you were to be left-handed. So I made a bit of storage here, and I keep some of my smaller chucks here that I use with that. I just added this and this lip here so I can hang all this stuff. And I have an Oneida dust collector. This thing is pretty powerful. However, it's very freaking loud. So I want to move this outside, so I have to build some kind of shelter for it, which when I price it out, what I want to do is like put it behind that wall over there and build an enclosure. But then I thought I'd just spend a couple more $100 and build a bigger place and move some other stuff in there. So essentially this is going to get piped in to come in exactly here where it is, but the actual dust collector will be outside and will be used with the IVAC remote, which will wind up somewhere in the corner over there. This is somewhat of a miter station with a rigid miter saw, and underneath here I have a rigid vacuum hooked up to this Oneida guy, and that is 100% dedicated to my miter saw. This is my DeWalt planer, which I build a base that is also a dust collection system, all self-contained. It's actually one of my most popular videos in my channel. A lot of people are actually copying how I did this, so if you're interested, have a look at that. I got some storage here. This will remain here. I have a bunch of discs cut out here. When I cut blanks, I can run them off in the bandsaw, so I use those as a guide. I got more storage here. I have 2 more fluorescent lights in this box that I'm going to mount now that I move stuff around, especially under my smaller lathe and somewhere else. I don't know where yet. But all of this whole rack is going to move to the other side when I build the other thing, so this is going to become all clear. And same thing with these 3 things: the planer, this drum sander, and this will move to the other side. But this is a Laguna Supermax drum sander that I bought and I haven't used yet, so when I do, I will do a proper review on it. Underneath I have a couple chainsaws that I use. I have a DeWalt cordless, and I have another one that is a plug-in one. This is a rigid sander. Most people are familiar with this guy. I have a helical jointer here, which is swappable. This is not attached, so basically I can put either one or the other on top of this and wheel it out. This I mainly use outside. So when I move this, I think part of it should be my clamp racks. My clamps are everywhere. They're like there's some there, some more over there. It's just kind of hidden different places, but I never remember where they are. So anyways, this is where I kind of hang out mainly. These are all my DeWalt tools and some supplies and stuff. This is not meant to display the tools like that. It's more so they're easily accessible. And yeah, this is I have a Mac here with a 12, I believe it's a 12 terabyte hard drive where I store all my video and do all my video editing. Got a microphone to do voiceovers, you know, with an accent, but it works very well. I have a laser picker 2 engraver hanging here, and this kind of job is set up here where this is actually a jump chuck that is threaded for either one of the lathes that I can use, but I also use it here when I finish the bottom of a bowl. I will put it here upside down, and I will use this guy to raise it up and down, and I engrave my name on the bottom of it. So, and this is kind of like a charging station. I use a couple different cameras. This is one that I can wear. It has 4K. This thing is actually great, except that I have to be mindful that no swinging my head around too much because it looks weird. Right now I'm using an Osmo to shoot this video. I also use my iPhone a lot, and I have one of those, I don't remember what it's called, but it's a Sony. They call it the blogger camera. It's an amazing little camera, but it's about $1,200. And then I have a Sony cinema camera here because I do own a video production company. That's what I do for a living. And then I started doing real estate and moving into DSLR. So I had this thing that cost a small fortune. When I bought it, I think it was like $9,000 or $10,000. The tripod was like $1,200. But I don't know. I bought it here. I figured I'm gonna use it here. So, anyways, where were we? We finished that end. This is my hand tool area, which I haven't really used much the past year, but I love this stuff. This is what I started with. I actually built this bench in my basement with no power tools. It was all done with those tools over there. And this was done with 2x4s and 2x6s bought from Home Depot. I'm a sucker for this stuff. I actually did a video where I wanted to get rid of my table saw and all this stuff and just keep this. And people keep saying, keep it. So I listen, you know. So here is where my small lathe was. And this is, you know, we learn as we go. Because I shoot video and this is backlit, it doesn't look good. See, like, so you got too much brightness there and you can't really see here. So I wound up not using that lathe, so I just moved it. This is my rigid drill press, and I have a permanently there almost a 3-inch Frosner bit because I like to mount most stuff with my 3-inch faceplate. I keep screws there. I use my screws on faceplate like maybe 3 or 4 times, and I throw them out because they will break on you in the blank, and it will be a nightmare. Trust me. Don't ask how I know. These are the pieces of wood. It's a very important part of the shop. What I do is, and instead of balancing the blank, you know, like sometimes if you do a live edge, you want to balance, for example, like not in this particular case, but you want to balance that your wings are level with each other both ways. In this one, I actually want it this way, but if I want to balance something, what I do is I place it here, and I will prop those pieces of wood underneath until it's level. Then I will drill my 3-inch recess, which leaves a flat, and that will become level when you turn it. Here I have a bunch of blanks to make a mess as soon as this video is done. because this is not gonna last, but this is my way of documenting that it was clean at one point. This grinders, it's a bit of a story here of a poor man pays twice or three times or God knows. But this I bought a Canadian Tire. I mean, it's a good sharpener, don't get me wrong, but the stone was a piece of crap. The thing was like $140, and then I decided to buy a diamond wheel, which was like $450. It's a 600 grit. I mean, this thing now with this wheel is amazing for my chisels and stuff. I mean, like, I don't even need to stroke it. Like, you can shave yourself with it. So then when I got into wood turning, I got this guy also from Canadian Tire, some cheap thing like $100, and it's a 6-inch, which it doesn't really work very much with a Wolverine system. I did buy a CBN wheel for that, and even though it's claimed to be low speed, at the lowest speed it's too fast. So you grow and you move on. So I eventually got me one of this, and eventually became two of them. So these are two Wolverine setups on them. I have an 80, 180, 220, and 600 grit. These are all my gouges. My favorite are my 40-40 grinds. This is 5/8, and I have a 1/2 inch, and I also have a 3/8. Those are the ones I use the most. And the second favorite is the 60 degrees swept back from, what is it, David Ellsworth? I think that's the proper name. So here I have a bunch of tools and chips and accessories. This is easy wood tools, my safety gear and stuff for my vacuum chuck, and anyways, all kinds of accessories. Here I have a bunch of blanks, and I used to have a smaller drill press which I sold recently. This buffing system I bought and I haven't used yet. There's a friend of mine carved this for me. It's a wood spirit that's supposed to keep you safe. So far it's doing a fantastic job. Knock on wood. So here are some finishes and my chucks for the bigger lathe and sanding equipment and measuring and blah blah blah. There's that guy. I forgot the name of it. And I have a compressor here. And this is a dust hood that I use with the dust collector when I do sanding. This is my primary lathe, which is a Laguna 1836. It's a 220 model, and I love this thing. I originally put a shelf. You can see where I cut the shelf there. The shelf came all the way, but it won't allow me to step really close to do when you want to do a swing, like, well, you start with your gouge here, and I had a hard time, so I decided to cut that up and put all those stones under there, which I posted a picture on Facebook, and oh man, it had like 100 something comments with, "You're in trouble, that's too much, what do you need that, what do you need that, blah blah blah." But anyways, it's my lathe, and I want some weight underneath. I don't know, people say that, if you put weight, then you're gonna ruin the bearings. But then cheaper lathe, and I mean, it's not necessarily cheap, but it's not necessarily high end either. This lathe was about 350 pounds, I think. If you buy a proper made in the US lathe or a one way, they range between $750 50 pounds to like 1,200 pounds, and there was a reason why they make them that heavy, is so, you know, so they won't walk away on you. And I'm not talking about, all I'm saying is that when you start turning, and instead of running at like 300 RPM and getting your hands beat up, that you can start at like 500 or 600, that's all. But anyways, it was a huge dilemma on Facebook. So anyways, I think I covered everything. Just looking around, see if I forgot to mention something. But oh, I have a Mirka sander and dust collector under here. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I have a small bandsaw here that's going out because it's being sold. And yeah, it's my little shop. And it's been a year of me turning, and I'm a bit intense. I turn a lot. I've learned a lot over the past year, to the point that sometimes I get accused of being turning for longer and lying about it because of the stuff that I'm doing. But it's got nothing to do, like, I'm no better than anyone else. I think that, you know, like, people buy a lathe and they turn something once a month, and then 10 years later they go, oh, I've been turning for 10 years, where, you know, I've sometimes turned 3-4 things in one day. And I'm not trying to race or anything, it's just, what I'm saying is, you gain a lot of experience. And I screwed up a lot of stuff too. But safety-wise, I haven't had any incidents. A couple of things flew off my lathe but landed on the floor. And there's usually video about it. But anyways, thanks for hanging out with me. I really love the support, and I will continue sharing as I learn. So thanks for hanging out. Have a good one. Ciao, ciao.